As some of you might know, NBA YoungBoy is known for literally having beef with everyone and everything possible, as a couple of years ago he was captured on camera while trying to fight a wall in the recording studio.
They're kind of like headphones. Listen. Hey.
Also, it wouldn't surprise me if footage appears of YoungBoy trying to fight and give a proper beating to Ronald McDonald. Thus, considering the large number of NBA YoungBoy beefs, today I want to take a journey back in time and look into NBA YoungBoy's lesser known beef with YNW Melly. So stick with me till the end to find out what happened between NBA YoungBoy and YNW Melly, but also to hear my crazy theory about what might have happened during the night of the drive-by shooting when YNW Sakchaser and YNW Juvy have died. Before that, please don't forget to smash the subscribe button for more trap, rap and R&B stories, news and analysis. And if you want, please do check out my YNW Melly videos playlist up here in the corner, where I talk in depth about the release of his upcoming album. Now without further ado, let's get cracking! There's not much information on what really happened between YNW Melly and YoungBoy other than an Instagram live from the late YNW Sakchaser, one of Melly's day one homies, who Melly is currently accused of killing. Besides all the overly exaggerated blockbuster sound effects that Sakchaser makes,
boom boom,
he describes quite in detail how it all went down. From his really vivid description, both NBA YoungBoy and YNW Melly's crew were at the headquarters of Atlantic Records, and while waiting somewhere in the building, NBA YoungBoy had his stare fixated on Melly's crew. Sakchaser and Juvy, noticing this, approached YoungBoy and proceeded to ask about his sexual orientation.
So I asked, you straight? Me and Juvy were like, straight?
Question which must have rubbed NBA YoungBoy the wrong way, as he proceeded to get up, lock eyes with Melly, and then throw him allegedly some weak punches. Punches so weak that they actually put Melly to the ground. After Melly being put to the ground, Sakchaser, like a good friend, proceeded to throw punches towards NBA YoungBoy.
Boom boom,
After which the fight escalated, as allegedly all of YoungBoy's associates joined the fight, with even Quando Rondo magically appearing from somewhere. Much more is not known about the incident because, as Sakchaser stated, no one put the beef onto the internet apart from him, and due to the fact that at the time he was quite unknown, no one really picked up the incident, and his IG live sits buried deeply within the internet. Some elements of the whole conflict might seem confusing at first, so here are some questions that I'll clear up for you. The first question that I'm going to address is that how NBA YoungBoy managed to put Melly to the ground so fast, because Melly, being on the streets, must have learned a thing or two about defending himself. Well, looking more into it, I found out that the height difference between Melly and YoungBoy is quite huge, because Melly sits at just 5'6". Meanwhile, the internet claims that YoungBoy sits at 5'8". But if we trust academics as a credible source, then YoungBoy is more like around 6 foot tall.
Ain't YNW Melly like 5'4"? I met Young tall, at least 6'2". He taller than me.
Thus, no wonder that poor Melly got put down so quickly. Luckily, Sakchaser, who quite towers Melly in the pictures and who is most probably around the same height as YoungBoy, stepped in and threw some punches at YoungBoy.
Boom boom,
Another question that you might ask is, what was Melly doing at Atlantic Records? Because we know for sure that NBA YoungBoy is signed to Atlantic Records, meanwhile Melly is signed to 300 Entertainment. Well, the answer is the following. Even though 300 Entertainment is a fully independent label, it still has a distribution deal with Atlantic Records, probably in order to try to maximize their profits rather than creating their own distribution chain and hire some more people. They rather give up a small percentage of their profits to Atlantic Records, who already has everything set up and has been doing it already for decades. The distribution deal was signed in November 2013 and must have been facilitated facilitated by Lior Cohen, who was the co-founder of 300 Entertainment and previously was the president of Warner Music Group, who owned Atlantic Records. Thus it makes sense that Melly would pop up at the building of Atlantic, because even though they handle only the distribution, they still might have a small say in what gets released or not in order to protect their investment. Before moving on, please let me know if you'd like me to cover more topics on the industry and business side of the rap game, because this is something that I definitely like to cover sometime in the future, and I would really like to make a video on 300 Entertainment to discover more about YNW Melly's record label. So please let me know down in the comment section. Now time to address the big question of what has led to the altercation between Melly's and YoungBoy's gang. Well, it's safe to say that there is no direct conflict between the two gangs from what we know, but it rather hails from Melly's association with Fredo, who is at war with YoungBoy. Long story short about their conflict, Fredo is part of TBG, short for Top Boy Gorilla, who is at war with YoungBoy's NBA, short for Never Broke Again crew. The beef initially didn't start between YoungBoy and Fredo, as the beef was rather between YoungBoy and his ex-friend G-Money, who allegedly slept with YoungBoy's sister, event which then started the beef between the two. While YoungBoy and G-Money were beefing, Fredo was sitting in jail for attempted murder, but promised G-Money a feature after his release from prison. Unfortunately, the feature never happened, as just a day before Fredo's release, G-Money has been gunned down, after which Fredo proceeded to carry on the legacy of G-Money and decided to further carry on the beef with YoungBoy. Fredo went as far as allegedly ordering a hit on YoungBoy while in Miami during the Rolling Loud festival, event which left an innocent bystander dead. Despite the tragic nature of the event, it also offered us an epic viral moment, with YoungBoy performing at Rolling Loud just mere hours after the incident went down, and he was performing on the stage as if literally nothing has happened. Before revealing my crazy conspiracy theory, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned with the latest YNW Melly news and analysis, plus for some more rap, trap and R&B videos. And now let's get cracking! Now, what you're about to hear is purely speculation and is just one of my theories that has been haunting me for quite a while. There is not much research put into the theory, as I mostly connected just some loose plot points, but it might just lead to even more unanswered questions rather than answered ones. So feel free to contradict me down in the comment section. Nevertheless, let's get into my over-the-top and bonkers conspiracy theory of what has happened during the night of the drive-by shooting. As we know, Melly is currently accused of killing his day one homies YNW Sakchaser and YNW Juvy, after which, together with YNW Portland, allegedly staged a drive-by shooting in order to cover up their marks. Well, my mind lately has been telling me a different narrative. So hear me out. We know that whenever YoungBoy beefs with someone, that someone ends up dead in one way or another. Prime example being the previously mentioned G-Money. But YoungBoy's most recent victim is no one other than King Von, with rumors saying that the beef allegedly started after King Von was caught dating YoungBoy's ex, Jenia Michelle. King Von's unfortunate and untimely death came straight after the release party of his Welcome to the Old Block album, when he went into an altercation with NBA YoungBoy's right-wing man Quando Rondo, who had one of his shooters on him, Lil Tim, and proceeded to shoot Von 4 times and leaving him in a critical condition and dying after arriving to the hospital. Considering this, it makes me think that YoungBoy directly or indirectly might have had something to do with the death of YNW Sakchaser and YNW Juvy, because if we are to believe what Sakchaser was saying in his Instagram live, then he was directly involved in the fight with YoungBoy, even throwing a few punches at him. Thus, I don't exclude that someone from YoungBoy's entourage might have wanted to take revenge and send a message to the YNW crew that NBA is not messing around. Here are some of the reasons why I think that NBA's crew might have had something to do with the incident. The fight between Melly's crew and YoungBoy's crew happened incredibly close to one another if you ask me. If we check on the internet, the earliest recording of Sakchaser's lives dates back to late August 2018, and 2 months later in late October the drive-by shooting happened, which claimed the lives of Sakchaser and Juvy. Now you might say that 2 months is quite a long time, but these beefs carry on for years, sometimes even for decades, and in those months something else might have happened too, something that didn't come to light yet, because not everything makes it onto the internet. The beefs that we are seeing are just the tip of the iceberg if you ask me. The second reason behind my theory is that if we recall, the authorities stated that Melly and Bortland circled around the area for another like 40 minutes before proceeding to take Juvy and Sakchaser to the hospital. The official narrative given by the police is that Melly and Bortland were circling the area in order to buy themselves some time, but my theory is rather a different one, as I think that Melly and Bortland was rather circling the area to look for the shooters and possibly retaliate and take revenge. I think that Melly and Bortland might have gone as far as trying to fire shots at them, which would explain Melly's shell casing that was found under the backseat in a bag. After circling around the car, Melly went to Fredo Banks' house, after which Bortland proceeded to drop off Juvy and Sakchaser at the hospital, where the two were confirmed dead on arrival. The reason for Melly going to Fredo Banks' house is probably due to wondering how to treat the situation and ask him what to do next, as Fredo Bank must have been familiar with how the NBA crew works and operates, as he has been beefing with them way longer than Melly did. Another reason for Melly going to hide at Fredo Banks' house is most probably due to trying to avoid any run-ins with the police, as he has quite a background with them. Most probably Melly tried to protect his musical career as much as possible, but nevertheless the cops had a different idea for him, as in February 2019 he was charged with the murder of Sakchaser and Juvy. Here is my fourth reason behind my theory. This is a later addition, as I came up with it during the editing process. Plus it doesn't concern the night of the drive-by shooting, rather it concerns the events that followed. If you recall, earlier during the video I mentioned that Fredo Bank might have gone as far as ordering a hit on YoungBoy during the 2019 Rolling Loud festival down in Miami, incident that unfortunately left an innocent bystander dead. Now while editing, a wild idea struck me, that of what if this shooting had nothing to do with the beef between Fredo Bank and YoungBoy, rather Fredo Bank acted as a middleman for YNW Melly and his gang while Melly is in prison. Because let's think logically, what a better time than this to take revenge on YoungBoy's crew for possibly having involvement in the killing of YNW Sakchaser and YNW Juvy. Because in a rare occasion, YoungBoy stepped into Florida to perform at the Rolling Loud festival, and let's not forget that Florida is the place Melly grew up, this being his home turf. Thus Melly couldn't possibly let one of the killers of his day one homies walk freely and unharmed right in his home state. Fredo Bank was probably somehow contacted by Melly or one of his associates, after which Fredo Bank possibly ordered the hit on YoungBoy, hit which was allegedly orchestrated by Lit Yoshi, one of the TBG members and label mates of Fredo Bank. Lit Yoshi is actually currently being investigated for the hit on YoungBoy and is currently sitting in jail as he awaits his trial. Now don't forget, this is just my theory. Feel free to agree or disagree with me down in the comment section and let me know what do you think. At the same time, I feel like I put together a much better narrative than the Florida State Police did, because all they did was slap together some random just to incriminate Melly, so their private prison system can benefit once again at the detriment of their citizens. But as I said, this is just my theory. Feel free to contradict me down in the comment section and let's discuss. Will Melly and YoungBoy ever make a song together? Well, if my theory holds true, then there is no way that it is going to happen ever. And if my theory is not true, and it might have been just a small fight at Atlantic Records, then there's still no chance of ever getting a collaboration because of Melly's association with Fredo Bang, even though I really wish for a collaboration to happen, as their styles are quite complementary and they would blend in really well. Plus I would really love them to trade bars. Deep down I know that this will never happen unless we start a petition on change.org. Now please let me know, would you ever like to see a collaboration between YNW Melly and YoungBoy? Because I'm definitely up for it. Plus please let me know, what do you make of my crazy conspiracy theory? Do you agree with it or not? Please let me know all this down in the comment section, and please don't send any goons after me. In conclusion, we partially know what happened down at Atlantic Records, as we have Sakchaser's perspective, but unfortunately we'll never know what happened after, as both the NBA crew and the YNW crew live and die by the code, keeping all the secrets with them till death. The only chance we ever get of finding out what has truly happened is if we hire the internet's busiest snitch, busiest private detective, Trapology, to whom I'd like to give a huge shout out, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, so huge thanks for inspiring me. Also, if you want, please help me to get close to Trapology's subscriber number, so we can finally do a versus battle and decide who's the bigger snitch, private detective. Once again, this has been Trapology 101. Till next time, stay safe and see you around, folks.